The meltdowns just keep coming, and today's lineup is pure gold. We've got LA Mayor Karen Bass throwing her own fire chief under the bus after the city burnt on her watch. MSNBC finally pulling the plug on Joy Reid's disastrous show About Time. And Trump is putting Maine's Democrat governor on blast over his executive order banning men from women's sports. Plus, in our reaction segment, we're diving into the drama surrounding Elon Musk's 13th baby mama suing for sole custody, complete with wild text message leaks. It's unbelievable. Well, welcome back to the Kharisma Show. Let's jump into it. So Trump is not playing around. And at a recent event, he called out Maine's Democrat Governor Janet Mills to her face, demanding to know if she'll comply with his executive order banning men from women's sports. And her response was a pathetic dodge. Take a listen.
The NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Well, are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with the state and federal laws.
Well, we are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor, because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
You could see the gears in her head grinding. Do I defy Trump and lose millions, or make the woke mob mad at me? This is why people love Trump. He forces these politicians to answer. And let's be real, Mills is going to fold the second that federal check is on the line. Moving on. On to LA was burning, and where was Mayor Karen Bass? Well, she was on a trip to Ghana, but don't worry, she's now investigating why she let herself go in the first place. You can't make this up. Take a listen.
I'm going to go to Ghana, which I know you've said was a mistake now. But I just am curious on the thought process behind it.
Right.
Because we know that there was warnings about the weather before you went, and you still went. What was the thought process behind going to Ghana?
So let me just tell you a couple of things. First of all, when the White House called and asked me if I would represent the president, I said yes. It was going to be a very, very short trip, over a weekend and 2 business days. We need to look at everything about the preparation and all of that for the fires, because I think when we evaluate that, we will find that although there were warnings that I frankly wasn't aware of, although there were warnings, I think our preparation wasn't what it typically is, meaning that before there's a major weather event, for example, last week when we knew we were going to get into the rains,
right,
you saw us come together and us talk about, get your sandbags, bring the K-rails out. That type of preparation didn't happen. If that had, I will tell you, Alex, I wouldn't have even gone to San Diego, let alone leave the country.
But what do you mean there were warnings you weren't aware of? Because I know we were talking about it on the news. A lot of people were talking about the problems, warning that this was going to be a huge deal.
So when I talked about it with the fire chief, what she said is that we have warnings of Santa Ana winds a lot, but predicting this, and you saw, from the city, from the county, that level of preparation really didn't happen. So it didn't reach that level to me to say something terrible could happen and maybe you shouldn't have gone on the trip.
Why didn't
But
it
to
happen?
me, I don't know. I mean, I think that that's one of the things we need to look at. So 2 investigations are taking place. One internal to the city, and that's the Fire Commission, because that's mandated by the city charter. So the commission will hire an outside entity to examine everything, the pre-deployment, why were firefighters sent home, all of that should have taken place that didn't. And then also the governor has contracted with the Fire Safety Research Institute, which is a national institute that investigated what happened in the fires in Maui. So everything that happened, including that, needs to be examined. But I will tell you that I felt absolutely terrible not being here for my city and not being here for my family, who was impacted by the fires as well. And so when I say it was a mistake, absolutely, the idea that I was not present was very painful.
Ah, yes, the classic I am the victim of my own decisions defense. But plot twist, Bass found a scapegoat. Instead of taking accountability, she fired the fire chief, Kristen Crowley, and she blamed her for the mess. Take a look at this craziness.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. Acting in the best interest of Los Angeles public safety and for the operations of the Los Angeles Fire Department, I just met with Chief Crowley and removed her as fire chief. I have appointed a 41-year veteran of the fire department, former Chief Deputy Ronald Villanueva, as interim fire chief. He is respected and ready to hit the ground running. So let me be clear. Our firefighters acted heroically during the Palisades fire, and they act heroically every single day. That is without question. Bringing new leadership to the fire department is what they and the people of Los Angeles deserve.
So right after throwing Crowley under the bus, yeah, real leadership. LA deserves better than this clown for sure. But we're on to Joy Reid, finally getting the boot. Yes, you heard that right. The ReidOut, it's part of a major shakeup at the network. But take a listen to some of the craziness this woman used to spill. Take a listen.
We begin our final sprint, having arrived at that point in the election season where basically we on this side of the TV screen have said all we can. We've laid out the stakes in this crucial election, where one side stands for freedom while the other meets the textbook definition of fascism, namely a far-right dictatorial regime like Hitler's Germany or Franco's Spain or Mussolini's Italy, but also white-ruled South Africa before Mandela and the black majority took control, or Vladimir Putin's Russia, Viktor Orban's Hungary, or Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela today, that suppresses the rights of women and minorities, uses the military to execute the whims of a strongman dictator, and controls and suppresses the press, education, the arts, rewrites history to suit a favored and dominant racial class, and foments extravagant corruption in order to enrich the dictator and his friends.
And just let's say people are celebrating. Megyn Kelly reacting on X said that, remember when Joy Reid laughingly mocked white women's tears as pathetic and offensive to her? Who's crying now, Joy? Good riddance to the absolute worst person on television, and shame on MSNBC for letting it go on this long. This woman built a career off of race baiting, lying, and smearing anyone to the right of Karl Marx. And now she's getting a taste of her own medicine. Now, on to our reaction segment. And you got to check this out. This is wild. Where Ashley Sinclair is suing Elon Musk for sole custody of the 13th baby. And now she's also published some private messages. But before we get into that, I want to show you something that's very hypocritical about this woman. Just buckle up. Like, this is unbelievable in my opinion. So take a listen to what Ashley had to say at some point when she went on a podcast and she was talking all about hookup culture and the conservative movement. Take a listen.
Gen Z really doesn't have traditional dating periods.
Yeah.
It's you're just kind of hooking
There's no
up. And it's
definition to
talking,
anything.
hey, we maybe should go back to like traditional dating. You know, my girlfriend's a Democrat. I'm like, well, get out. What
How does that
happens?
happen?
I don't know. And that's what I said. I said, there is a fundamental difference in the values of Democrats and Republicans. That's not going to work. I mean, what happens if she gets pregnant? No one wants to commit or be in a traditional like dating.
Right.
These weird talking stages, and their talking stages mean like the hookup phase. Why do we have so many people making choices that really are against their biological nature? I feel like this is a majority of the Gen Z girls and the whatever they're calling that other generation. They really fell prey to this hookup culture. They're understanding that it's not making them happy. If you're a young man looking for a more traditional relationship,
Go to church.
Yeah, I just feel like they have to live, you know, you have to walk the walk, and you can't be calling for traditional lifestyles if you yourself are involved in hookup culture and things like that. Social media contributes to the problem of people always thinking there's something else out there. Well, you know, I could do better. I think it's more important to be have shared values rather than interests. I think interests are temporary and can be switched out and changed. You want to promote family values and tell everyone to have families, and that's your purpose, but it's also very hard for people to do that now. So
There are a bunch of
kinda-
people trying to take your kid away from you as well.
Yeah, exactly. You have people who can't raise families the way that we're supposed to. They are really trying to take our children from us. That Gen Z really doesn't.
There you have it. You have to walk the talk. And all about hookup culture. And they want to take your kids away from you. What? Do you understand the hypocrisy of what's happening here? This was only back in March 2023. Okay? She got pregnant from Musk, supposedly, allegedly, in 2024. And she's talking about what? You know, there's values, you know, the core values are not the same as the Democratic BS. Anyways, I just wanted to show you the hypocrisy, how people talk and they don't live they're not walking the talk. They're not living the life that they're professing, clearly. And she has a child from some different relationship. So now she's a single mom of 2. Wow. Anyways, let me jump in and show you some details of her filings and some of those private messages that she shared about, that Musk shared with her, and now she's shared with the world. Let's jump into it. Okay. So it says here, Ashley Sinclair files for sole custody of child, she says Elon Musk fathered. Move down here. MAGA influencer Ashley Sinclair filed 2 petitions on Friday against Elon Musk seeking a court-ordered paternity test and sole custody of the 5-month-old, said she and the SpaceX founder shared. And earlier this month on Valentine's Day, Sinclair posted a statement on Musk's own social media platform X saying he was the father of her infant. The child would be Musk's 13th and his first with Sinclair. Now, Musk has not publicly acknowledged her claim, and an attorney from Musk, let me just pop myself in there, and her attorney from Musk, naming the filings, did not immediately respond to a request for comment from HuffPost. So in the new petitions filed in New York Supreme Court, Sinclair details her relationship with Musk. She alleged that the pair began their romantic relationship in May of 2023 and conceived their son, identified in the filings as RSC, around January of last year. News of the court filings were first broken by journalist Taylor Lorenz on her Substack user Mag. So allegedly, this is Musk here holding the baby when she gave birth. Now, Sinclair claims in the filing that Musk has acknowledged parentage of the child in various written correspondences with her. 2 images uploaded to the petition claim to show digital messages between Sinclair and Musk. On message dated November 24 appears to show Musk telling Sinclair, "I want to knock you up again." A second message, apparently from Musk on February 2nd of this year, reads, "Well, we do have a legion of kids to make." Okay. So it says here, see the message, "Hi, cutie." And she says, "Hi, see you soon. I want to knock you up again." And then he says here, I want to have make a legion of kids with you. Another image, purported messages between Sinclair and Musk, shows Sinclair sending a photograph of herself after giving birth. Musk appears to respond to Sinclair by writing, "All well, and I look forward to seeing you and him this weekend." And Teddy, and this other message here, it says here, he's going on, he's receiving death threats, and he's number 2 after Trump for assassination. But the incredible thing about this message is that you will notice that there's a little timer here besides each message that he sends. I believe there's something called, oh dear, I forget the message. What the tool is that he's using, that his messages will disappear after it's sent after a certain time. But this wicked woman, you know what she did? Because apparently if you are using this tool, the message would disappear within, like, each message here has a time limit. It says 7 minutes, 5 minutes, and so on. It's going to disappear after that time. But what she did, she took another cell phone and took screenshots, because if you try to do a screenshot of the message using the same phone, it will notify the individual who sent that message. So this woman, she was conniving way back when she and Musk was having messages about the child. I call it 101 conniving, because why would you be taking screenshots of these messages, private messages between you and Musk, if you didn't have plans for down the road? Am I crazy to think that? I don't think I am, but let's continue. Okay. So here it says, Sinclair claims in the petition that she and Musk previously agreed that she and the child will move to Austin, Texas after she gave birth. But around July last year, Musk directed Sinclair and the child to live in New York, where they currently reside, to filing claims. In a separate filing, asking the court for sole custody, Sinclair paints Musk as an absent father, alleging that she has been the sole parent and caretaker of their son. She claims Musk has only met their child 3 times and has had no involvement in his upbringing. I am the only parent who cares for him on a daily basis. I feed him, bath him, and ensure that all his physical and emotional needs are met, Sinclair wrote. By his choice, meaning Musk, was not present for the birth of our child, has no more than 3 in-person visits with our child, and has not expressed an interest in having custody of our child. She also says Sinclair alleges that Musk first met their son in September last year. During a visit to New York that month, he interacted with his son twice. And yeah, so that is the scoop. So the child already lives with you. You already have sole custody. Musk's name is not on the birth certificate because that's what they both agreed to. And you already have sole custody. She wants Musk to, I guess that's part of the process when you're filing for sole custody. To prove paternity, you have to do a DNA test. But you already have sole custody. You and Musk were working on an agreement to raise the child. You notice that she never talked about he's not providing. He's not taking care of her and the child. You notice that there was nothing mentioned about that. However, this witch, she wants more money. This is all about money. What else could it be? You have the child. You have an arrangement. He's already taking care of you and the child. Why is this necessary? That is my thing. And the other thing about he's an absent father, you knew what you signed up for. You knew that you were laying down, having sex with the richest man in the world, and who's busy now with the government in his role there and running SpaceX and Neuralink and all of these other companies. What were you expecting a ring? You've seen his pattern. You know what this man is about. It's wild to me that, she's expecting, I don't know what she's expecting. What were you expecting, Ashley? Musk's personal life is a mess, but dragging him through court and airing out his texts, his private texts, is some next level drama. And I have to say, classic modern woman shenanigans. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Now we're moving on to our raw and unfiltered section, our segment, I should say, where real Americans are reacting to the insanity unfolding right before our eyes. And first up, we have someone saying that liberals are getting the Trump they deserve. Take a listen to what he had to say. And I just love this guy.
You are absolutely getting the Trump you deserve. Now, let me explain something to you. When Trump came into office in 2016, he came as a beloved cultural figure on both sides of the aisle, and he wanted to work with people. He actually wanted to work with Democrats to get things done. He wanted to work with Hollywood to get things done. He wanted to work with everyone because he wanted to be loved. And why not? Because everybody always loved him. He didn't think that anything would be different. What he got from you guys is he got impeached twice. He got the arm of the federal government coming down on him in ways that we have never seen before in American history. Oh, and by the way, in recent memory, I think he tried to kill the guy twice, all right? So what you're getting now in Trump 2.0 is zero F's given governance. He does not care what liberals think. He does not care what Democrats think. He does not care what Hollywood thinks. And he is surrounded by people who also do not care what Democrats think, do not care what liberals think, and do not care what Hollywood thinks. The people that voted for this Trump absolutely voted for all of these things. And while I see liberals and Democrats cope and seethe on their podcasts and their MSNBC padded room insane asylums, I want to let you know that this is your fault. If you wanted to work with Trump, if you were magnanimous, if you really cared about this country, you would not be getting the Trump that you are getting right now. So libs, this is your fault. Deal with it.
I agree with him. Exactly. They whined, they cried, and now they get to live in the world that they've created. Moving on to number 2, where Libby, her name is Laura Libby. She is a representative of Maine, a Republican representative of Maine, and she's not having the garbage that they want her to spew. So let's take a listen.
I heard this from a friend who is impacted and immediately felt, I have to post this and share because it's not fair. These girls, you look at the picture and there's a boy on the podium in first place, and there's 2 girls who tied for second place that would have won if not for a biological male jumping in their category. That's just not fair for Maine girls.
Have you paid any sort of price politically in terms of people reacting negatively at the very least as a result of speaking out on these issues?
Yeah, I've heard from Maine folks on both sides of the issue. I've heard folks, saying, thank you so much for speaking up. Our girls deserve to have a fair and level playing field. I've also heard from folks who are unhappy about my post. This is a public event that this individual has chosen to take part in, and the results are public. And this is public information. And so I've heard from folks on both sides of the aisle. I've been asked by Democrat leadership in the House to take the post down. And as you can see, I have not done that. Our girls deserve folks standing up and advocating for a fair and level playing field. And we'll have legislation coming up this session in the State House to discuss this topic of if boys should be allowed to play in girls' sports here in Maine. And so there's going to be plenty of opportunity for folks to stand up and make their voices heard.
There you have it. We have Laura Libby speaking about the garbage that's going on in Maine when it comes to men playing in women's sports. And finally, we have one more coming up, and that is all about this woman is excited to see what Elon Musk is going to do when he gets to the Department of the CPS, Child Protective Services, and all the nonsense that's been going on there. So she's looking forward to that. Let's hear what she has to say. Let's listen.
Hey guys, have you heard? Doge is going after CPS and the United States foster care system next. Yep. If you're making money on these kids illegally, if you're using and abusing and frauding, he's coming for you. He's fixing to find out the truth, the real truth about what is happening to these children. This just keeps getting better and better. Everything that we ask for, he is delivering. I am so excited. This is absolutely huge. Huge. To me, it's almost as big. No, not almost. It is as big as the IRS. So actually probably even more so important because of the children involved. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, guys. What do you expect to happen? What do you think will happen? I'm just excited. I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. God bless you.
And there you have it. The Americans have spoken about the nonsense that's taking place. Another day, another episode of leftist lunacy. People are waking up. The nonsense is getting exposed, and the meltdowns are only getting better and giving me even more content to share with you on a daily basis. Remember to like and subscribe and let me know in the comments which of these meltdowns was the most ridiculous. And until next time, stay sane out there, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and bye for now.